All right, welcome to the 2K23 modding basics tutorial. I'm not going to waste any time, not going to drag this out any longer than it has to. We're just going to get right into it. Today you're going to learn how to install all the tools you need to mod 2K23. You're going to learn to install theme songs, renders, graphics, characters, some texture swaps, and an arena. So let's get into it. What I think is probably going to be the easiest mod, requires the least work, and that is a sound mod. So what I want you to do is go ahead and download the sound editor, which I've already done. Once you get it downloaded, just put it wherever you want, install it with the setup installer. Then you go ahead and open up sound editor. All right, so you click over here to file, open, and it should take you directly into the 2K23 directory. If it doesn't, just look for it, find it, and go to your sound folder right here. And here you'll see all the pack files or PCK files for 2K23's audio. So you got your ring announcer files, your audio, your voiceover, your entrance music, soundtrack, all that. So what we're going to do first is just go to Music 1. I want to find a generic theme to replace. I've already replaced Classic 1, but I'm going to show you how to do it anyways. So find an entrance theme you want to replace. For me, I'm going to do Classical 1. We go back to PW Mods. Go to my Mercedes Money theme. And for me, it says pending approval, but by the time this video comes out, it should be approved, and you can just download it. Go back to Sound Editor. Highlight the theme you want to replace. We're going to do Classical 1. Right-click, Import, and select your WEM file. So Mercedes Money entrance theme, WEM. Open. And now it's injecting it, file data injected. So now you can preview it, make sure it's working. Right click, play. Okay, it's in there. We don't want to get demonetized. You can also just go through and check out other themes in the game if you want. I've already replaced Alexa Bliss's theme with her new version. You can hear it here. So it's very easy to replace the themes. You can even export them. You can export them all at the same time, have it convert them for you. You can go to Tools, Sound Converter. You can drag and drop MP3 WAV or OGG files. It'll convert them to WEM files for you. So now that we've got the Classical 1 theme replaced with Mercedes Money theme, we can go ahead and test that. So for the purpose of this test, it doesn't really matter who you select to check the music. We're just going to go to Alexa Bliss. And all we're going to do is we're just going to find the Classical 1 entrance theme. And we're going to check it and make sure it plays Mercedes Money's theme, which it should. Scroll down to entrance music. Go over to the C's and Classical 1. And as you can hear, it is Mercedes Money's New Japan theme. We have successfully installed our first mod. Congratulations. Now we can move on to the more advanced, the more cool stuff like character swaps. But before you can do that, you need to go to the Pro Wrestling Mods Patreon and download Cake Tools 2023 beta. Now right now it is not available to the public. You have to subscribe to their $5 a month Patreon, but it will have a public release, I think, within the next month or so is what they've said. I may be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But just keep an eye out. It will be free within the next little while. But for now, first thing you want to do is download the required font file for this. So you're just going to download it, put it wherever you want. Show you how to install that. This is something I forgot to do in my last tutorial and I had a lot of questions about, so I want to make sure I do it now. So once you download the font file, you just extract it, put it somewhere, wherever you want. And now just highlight all these font files, right click, and install for all users. I probably already have them installed, but I just want to make sure I show you how to do that. And that's it. That's all you have to do. You can, as a matter of fact, you can delete both of these files now if you want. All right, now go back to their Patreon, and now we're going to download Cake Tools 2023 RAR. Extract that to the desktop somewhere. And here is Cake Tools. All All right, go ahead and minimize this folder. And we're going to put Cake Tools to the side for a moment, because the most important part about modding probably is we need the patcher. Without the patcher, 2K23 is not going to load any mods. So go over to this guy's Twitter. You will find his link in the description along with all the other links. Go over to his Twitter, and his tweet from April 19th, 2023 at 6:21 a.m. Central Standard Time, of course. You will find this tweet, and this tweet is the patcher for 2K23. Go ahead and give that a download. All right, we're going to extract that. Now, what you want to do is you want to grab the patcher file, this exe here, copy, and we're going to put that in our 2K23 directory. If you don't know how to find your 2K23 directory, what you want to do is just go to your library in Steam, find 2K23, right-click, manage, browse local files, and it'll pull it right up. So now we're just going to paste the patcher into your 2K23 directory, just like that, and now run it. Run it as an administrator. Let it do its thing, and patch has been applied, and poor Patrick Gilmore. And there you go. And now 2K23 can run your mods. So now what you want to do while you're in your 2K20 directory is right-click, new folder, and you're going to create a folder and call it _mods. This is where you're going to put all of your mods for 2K23, aside from the sound mods. We can open that up. Minimize, and we're going to go back to PW mods, and we're going to go and download Mercedes Monet by Joe Mashups. This is a character mod, and we'll go ahead and give it a download and install. Open it up. As you can see, this Mercedes Monet mod is named 299_Tamina_2019. What that means is that this mod is going to replace Tamina. There is a way to inject new characters without replacing anybody with meta tools, but that's not released yet, and I still have to learn how to use that before I can show anybody how to do it in a tutorial myself. So right now we're going to just replace Tamina to get Sasha Banks or Mercedes Monet in the game. So what you want to do is go back to your mods folder. All right, this is your mods folder in your 2K23 directory. Inside of the mods folder, I want you to create a folder, and we're going to call it characters. You're going to create a folder called characters, and make sure you spell it right, like I definitely did the first time. Make sure you spell it right. Go inside of that folder. Now we're going to take our 299_Tamina_2019 file and just simply drag it and copy it into our characters folder. All right. Now, all we have to do is go back to Cake Tools. Once you're in Cake Tools, what you need to do is go to Options, Set WWE Directory. All right, so what we're doing is we're setting the directory so Cake Tools knows where 2K23 is. So in your directory, just go to the exe file, click it, and open it. Now Cake Tools knows where to find 2K23. So now to bake that folder, as they call it, we're going to go to File, Bake a Folder, open up your mods folder, and just hit Select Folder. And we're going to bake file index 61. Just leave the number at 61 for now. There's no need to create any additional bake files at the moment. All right, let it do its thing. The more mods you add, the longer this is going to take. I've had to wait 5-10 minutes before in 2K22. That's why there are different bake index files you can create. That way, if you have 100 mods, you can create one specifically for characters, one specifically for graphics, one for renders, one for this and that. That way, every time you add one small mod, you don't have to wait 5-10 minutes. All right, directory baked successfully, press OK. If you do not press OK, your mod will not load in the game. So make sure you press OK. All right, and now we can test it. We can launch 2K23. To launch it from Cake Tools, you can just go to File and Launch. And we can make sure that Tamina has been replaced. Let's see, has she been replaced? And as you can see, she has the wonderful mod by the talented Joe Mashups, Mercedes Monet in 2K23. How about we go ahead and give her her music? Go over entrance music and select Classic Goal 1. And now she has her music, but she's missing her graphics. She needs her graphics. It just doesn't feel like Mercedes money. All right, so let's go ahead and give her graphics by downloading this graphics mod here. Track that on the desktop. And it's the same idea. You want to put this in your mods folder as well. All right, so go ahead and open up your Mercedes Money graphics folder here. You see you have your movies folder. So go back to your mods folder. All you have to do is drag and drop this entire folder here. So whenever you download a graphics mod, all of the graphics are going to go into this movies folder. SS is going to be for like your stage designs, your stage graphics rather. And Titantron is going to be the Titantron, of course. So SS would be like your ring post, your barricade, the stage itself, stuff like that. So it looks like this Mercedes Money mod is going to overwrite Xia Li's graphics, which is fine for this tutorial. That's all we need. So now we're just going to go back to Cake Tools and bake that folder once again. Go to File, Bake a Folder, select your mods folder again, select Folder, and just bake over 61 once again. Directory baked successfully, press OK, and launch the game. So we've headed back into Creative Entrance here. As you can see, Tamina's graphics are still displaying. So what we need to do is go to Titantron movie. We're going to change that to Xia Li. And now you see you've got the Mercedes Money Titantron. Do the same thing for banner movie, stage ramp, ring post, and barricade. I'll do that real fast. All right, as you can see, all of the graphics are Mercedes Money's graphics. We are getting closer and closer to having that Mercedes Money experience in 2K23, whatever you want to call it. We're almost there, but we're still missing a couple things. We need that render at the main menu, and it probably wouldn't hurt to change her motion, but that's not a mod. We'll get to that later. And not only are we going to change her render, but I'm going to show you how to edit the SDB file to make her show up in the main menu as Mercedes Money instead of Tamina. All right, you've done great so far. So now let's replace Tamina's render with this Sasha Banks, Mercedes Money, whatever, render mod so that she appears as herself in the main menu. Go ahead and give this a download. So we've got 3 different renders here. You can choose whichever one you want, but since we're doing a Mercedes Money mod, I think I'm going to go with Sasha number 2 here. So this right here is what your mods folder should look like when we're putting this render in the folder. So what we're going to do is we'll go back to the mods folder. We're going to create this exact file structure right here. So we're going to go mods folder, new. We're going to name this one UI. Go inside of that, create another folder, call it assets. Go inside that folder, it's a repetitive process, and create a folder called 2K20 underscore textures. We're going to go inside of that folder and create another one called 2K20 renders. 2K20 underscore renders, excuse me. Inside of that one, you're going to create another folder and call it Superstars. Make sure your spelling on all of these folders is correct. Otherwise, it will not work. And inside of that, we're going to create 2 more folders, and I'm going to call one type B, and type A and type B. No spaces. All right, so we're going to go ahead and drag and drop our Sasha render into both folders. We're going to do a copy in each folder. With this file name right here, though, it is not going to replace Tamina. So what we need to do is we need to figure out what Tamina's render file is actually called. So what we're going to do is we're going to hunt that down and find out the name of that file. So we're going to go back to Cake Tools. We go to File. Go back to your 2K23 directory. And let's start searching in baked 07, bake file 07. So we know that this file should be located through a file structure that looks like this: UI, assets, 2K20 texture, 2K20 renders, superstars, and type B. So I want to start right here at UI. There's assets. Let's see, 2K20 texture is what we're looking for right here. Open that up. And now we're looking for 2K20 renders. Is that in here? It is. So we're going to go to 2K20 renders. And now there's a Superstars folder. This one says type A, but that's okay. File the name will still be the same. So now we have to look through all of these files until we find Tamina. And there are a lot. Just scroll through them, and you can typically find them pretty quickly. If you know what you're looking for, you know what name you're looking for, it'll pretty much pop out when you're looking for it. Or if you want to try to find them faster, what you can do is you can highlight this folder, and you can just export the entire folder. So I've just exported that entire folder to my desktop. You can open it up. You can search for Tamina. Look, if I can spell. And there she is right there, Tamina. We know that her file name is 29900_Tamina.dds. So you can also look back in here and find her now. Right there, 29900_Tamina. And there's her render. So what we're going to do is we're going to rename this file right here the exact same file, the exact same name as that Tamina render. There she is right there. You right click, rename, just copy. You don't have to do it exactly this way. You can just type it in. You don't have to export all these files to your desktop. That is just a way to search them out if you want. So now we're going to go to the type B folder and do the same thing, rename Tamina. So now we can go to file, once again, bake a folder, select your mods folder, select folder, bake it once more. Directory baked successfully, press OK, and now we can test this. And now we can check to see if that render is in here for Mercedes Moné. Should be overwriting Tamina, and there it is right there. Overwrites Tamina, and it should be on the match screen as well, and it is. Now let's fix where it says Tamina. Let's change Tamina's name to say Mercedes Moné. So now to change Mercedes Moné's name in game to say Mercedes Moné, you're going to go back to Cake Tools, and we're going to open up Baked File 00. Once you've got that open, you're going to scroll all the way to the bottom until you see a folder called SDB. I'm going to grab the E and G one, English. We're going to extract that file. Go ahead and save it to my desktop. Now, file is exported. So now we're going to go to Tools, SDB Editor, Open SDB. Find that file you just extracted. Mine's on my desktop. Open it up. This is every single string of subtitles, names, or any other text in 2K23. So we want to find every mention of Tamina and change that to say Mercedes Moné. So what we're going to do is go to search and just type in Tamina. Give it a second. Okay, so everywhere it just says Tamina, we want to overwrite that with Mercedes Moné. So here's what we're going to do. Just double click it, Mercedes Moné. Double click, Mercedes Moné. And you're just going to do that on every single string of text that only says Tamina. Anytime Tamina is mentioned in subtitles or on the main menu or fight or match select screens or whatever it may be, it will now say Mercedes Moné. So now we're going to go save SDB as. We can just overwrite this version that's on our desktop. And now we need to create this a folder in the mods folder. So you see that it has its own folder simply titled SDB. Create a folder and call it SDB. And the only thing that should be inside of that folder is our newly created ENG English SDB file. So just drag it and drop it to the SDB folder. And we'll test that here in a little bit, but next I want to install this side plate mod for Mercedes Moné. So we're going to go ahead and give it a download. And this one here says Bake 62. So they want us to bake this folder by itself in Bake 62. And if you remember, all of these mods we have been baking in Bake File 61. So what we're going to do is we're going to follow their instructions, and we're just going to copy this entire Bake 62 folder here. We're just going to put it right here. We can just put it right here with our mods folder. Do not put it in it, just put it with it. And to make sure it stays at the top of the folder, we can just add an underscore before it. Bake 62 right there. This is our championship side plate mod. See all the files here. Let's go back to the home. Now we're going to open Cake Tools. This process is just a little bit different to the last one. So you're going to go to File, Bake a Folder. Instead of selecting your mods folder this time, select Bake 62 and open it up. Select folder. And notice this says Bake 61. Make sure you change this to Bake 62 and then press OK. If you leave it as Bake 61, if you leave it as 61, it will overwrite the other mods we just put in. We don't want to do that. We want to make sure we have all of them at the same time. So change it to Bake 62, press OK. Directory baked successfully, and now we should be ready to test all of the mods at the same time. Actually, we've got one more mod to install I almost forgot about. Evolution Arena. Let's go ahead and give that an install. Before we test it, let's go ahead and download this. Once you've got it downloaded, go ahead and extract it somewhere. Open the folder. All right, so all of these files right here, we're just going to copy them into our mods folder. Just like this. There we go. And now we're ready to bake this mods folder once again. Remember, Bake 62 has already been baked separately. So we're going to go to the mods folder. We're going to bake it and make sure it is baked as Bake 61. And it is, so press OK. All right, press OK, and now launch the game. We can now test all of the mods at the same time. If everything went right, we now have a Mercedes Moné character, graphics, music. She should show up in the menu as Mercedes Moné, her render, and the Evolution Arena, and her side plates. We're going to assign her side plates right now. Go ahead and go to play real quick, and let's check to see if she has her name. So she'll should no longer be listed under Tamina. And you notice Tamina's missing. So let's go to the M's. And there she is, Mercedes Moné. All right, so now let's go ahead and assign her side plates. Now we're just going to give Mercedes Moné her plates now on both sides. If you remember right, we were replacing the NWO side plates with her plates. So there they are right there. All right, now we're going to copy this directly to the right side, and now her championship's ready to go. We'll just keep it named Championship for now. And now we can test all of the mods out at the exact same time. Meanwhile, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to create her entrance, and I'll see you guys in the entrance. All right, we've got our Evolution Arena. We've got our Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné mods installed. I just created the entrance, so let's go ahead and test it all at one time. Make sure the entrance is on, and let's take a look at it. And if everything went right, you've got all of the mods installed. You've got your arena, the render, the graphics, the music, the character mod, the SDB file. It's all there. If you can install the mods that you just installed in this video, you can install anything. It's that easy. It's not hard. I recommend you back up your save file, because you don't want to corrupt your save. That actually has happened to me before. Thankfully, I have the Steam Deck, and I was able to get my save off of that. But make sure you back up your save before modding, and everything should work out just fine. It's incredibly easy.
She can find the right strategy.
And that's about all there is to it. As I've said, if you can install the mods that you just installed in this video, you can install all of them, or at least most of them, on the PWM website. There is another method, as I talked about earlier, of instead of replacing Tamina, we could have injected Sasha Banks as a separate slot, and in a separate slot as a new character, but the tool is not available for that yet. I have to take the time to learn that tool before I can go teaching people how to use it in a tutorial. Until then, Cake Tools is more than capable of handling the mods that most people are going to want. It is, like I said earlier, it's still under early access, but it's worth the $5 just to start modding. It will be free, so just give it time. If you don't want to pay for it, give it time. It will come into public. It will have a public release. But until then, thanks for watching. I hope the tutorial helped you out. If it didn't, reach out to me on Twitter, and I will try my best to help you from there. You can send me a DM. My notifications for DMs are off, but I will respond to you as soon as I can. I get a lot of spam, and a lot of bots message me, but I try to check them at least once a day to see what I got going on. So send me a DM if you need help, and I will try my best to give you a hand, or leave a comment under the video, and I will try to help you from there. But if you followed every single step in this video, just the way I showed you, you shouldn't have any issues with these mods. Make sure your file structures are correct. Make sure the names in the folders are correct. One slip up in spelling can make the mods not work. So just double check your work. Make sure everything is correct the way it should be, and your mods should work just fine. Until next time, until I finally make another regular video, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Or I'll see you later, whatever. Bye!